Hello students, welcome back. So now in this section our focus would be on mathematical formulation of problems, linear programming problems. That is, we'll discuss optimal product line problems, then we'll discuss diet problems, and finally the transportation problems. Side by side we'll also discuss some examples based on their application. So let's begin. Okay, so now that we had discussed the mathematical formulation of LP, now we'll be discussing the examples based on them so that the things are quite clearer to you. The first example that we have is, now we'll be discussing various types of problems, in which we'll be discussing the optimal product line problems, then we'll be having diet problems and transportation problems. So we begin with optimal product line problems. In optimal product line problem, the first example that we have is, a factory produces two products P1 and P2. Each of the product P1 requires 2 hours for molding, 3 hours for grinding and 4 hours for polishing, and each of the product P2 requires 4 hours for molding, 2 hours for grinding and 2 hours for polishing. The factory has molding machine available for 20 hours, grinding machine for 24 hours and polishing machine is available for 13 hours. And then you are given that the profit is 5 per unit of P1 and 3 per unit of P2, and the factory can sell all that it produces. Formulate the problem as a linear programming problem to maximize the profit. So one thing is clear, that we have to maximize the profit, so our objective function is going to be of maximization type. Now you have to find out the variables, then you will have to figure out the objective function and the constraints. This is what we are required to do. So the best thing that you can do in such problems is try to prepare a table, try to just put all the information in the form of a table. So we try to prepare a table in which, right, so what I can do is, I can just write it in this form. This is product, here I am writing down the product, and then I have the resources. So we are given, we have molding, then okay, so I have molding, right, then I have grinding, and then I have polishing. Then you can also put profit here, so that you have all the information available in the form of table. Then it will be easy for you to just form the constraints. So here we have products P1 and P2, and then I have capacity, right. So now it's saying that P1 requires 2 hours for molding, 3 hours for grinding and 4 hours for polishing. 2 hours for molding, 3 hours for grinding, 4 hours for polishing. Then the P2 requires 4 hours for molding, 2 hours for grinding and 2 hours for polishing. So we have here 4, 2, 2. Then you have maximum availability is 20, 24 and 13. So I have capacity is 20, 24 and 13, and the profit available is 5 and 3. Now just assume that, suppose X units of P1 and Y units of product P2 are produced to maximize the profit, right. We just assume that X units of P1 and Y units of P2 are produced to maximize the profit. So we'll have the profit function, okay, first of all will become maximize Z equal to 5x plus 3y, because the profit is given to be 5 for P1 and 3 for P2 per unit, and then we are assuming that X units of P1 and Y units of P2 are produced. So it becomes 5x plus 3y subject to Now constraints would be the maximum capacity is 20 hours for molding, that means 2x plus 4y less than equal to 20. Why less than equal to? Because it is the maximum capacity of the machine, that means the 2x 2 hours for producing P1 are required per unit of P1. P1 requires 2 hours for molding, so that means it will become 2x plus 4y is less than equal to 20. Similarly, 3x plus 2y is less than equal to 24, and then we will have 4x plus 2y is less than equal to 13, and then you will have the number of products x and y will always be non-negative. So, we have x is greater than equal to 0 and y is greater than equal to 0. So, the mathematical formulation is maximize z equal to 5x plus 3y subject to 2x plus 4y is less than equal to 20, 3x plus 2y is less than equal to 24 and 4x plus 2y is less than equal to 13, x is greater than equal to 0, y is greater than equal to 0. Now we have the second example. So this is what we mean by mathematical formulation, that you have a description, problem is given to you in this form and you try to formulate it in mathematical form. At later stage we will also be discussing the formulation and then solution of such linear programming problem. So the second example says a firm can produce 3 types of cloth, say C1, C2, C3. 3 kinds of wool are required for it, that is red wool, green wool and blue wool. One length of C1 needs 2 meters of red wool, 3 meters of blue wool, and 1 unit of C2 needs 3 meters of red wool, 2 meters of green wool and 2 meters of blue wool. And then similarly for C3 the requirement is 5 meters of green wool, 4 meters of blue wool. The firm has a stock of 16 meters of red wool, 20 meters of green wool and 30 meters of blue wool. It is assumed that income obtained from 1 unit of length of C1 is 6, C2 it's 10 and for C3 it's rupees 8. Formulate the problem as a linear programming problem to maximize the income. So you have to maximize the profit in this case also. Again try to form a table. So we have the information given to us in this form. First of all, so we just try to form a table, right? This is the easiest way to formulate a LPP, because once you have the information gathered in the form of table, it becomes quite easy to form the constraints. So here we have 3 types of wool, that is red wool, then you have green and then you have blue. You can also form income here, right? So here we have income. Now here we'll have cloths, that is C1, then you'll have C2, then you have C3, and here we can put the total quantity of wool available, right? So for C1 it needs 2 meters of red wool, 3 meters of blue wool. 2 meters of red wool, 3 meters of blue wool, that means 0 meters of green wool. Just be a bit cautious in this case, because when you have certain variable missing, do not miss out that information. Most of you, what you will do is you will blindly write down 2 in front of red, and many of you would end up writing 3 in front of green, but that would be totally incorrect. Then for C2 similarly we have 3, 2, 2, and for C3 it's 0, 5, 4. Let's check. For C3 it was 5 green and 4 blue, so it's become 0, 5, 4. Now income is given to be 6, 10 and 8, and total quantity available is 16, 20 and 30. So now again just assume that x1, x2, x3 be the quantity produced, let x1, x2, x3 be the quantity produced in meters of cloth C1, C2, C3 respectively, right? So that means we'll have total quantity available is 16 in case of red wool, so it becomes 2x1 plus 3x2 plus 0x3 is less than equal to 16. This is again following from the same concept as we have discussed just now in the previous example. Since we are assuming that x1, x2, x3 are the quantities of cloth produced of C1, C2, C3. So for in case of red wool, we will have 2x1 plus 3x2 plus 0x3 would be less than equal to 16. Similarly, we will have 0x1 plus 2x2 plus 5x3 would be less than equal to 20, and you will have 3x1 plus 2x2, this is how I am computing this, plus 4x3 will be less than equal to 30. These are the constraints. So first of all, we had to maximize, the objective function was maximize z, and you have to maximize your income. That means maximize z equal to 6x1 plus 10x2 plus 8x3 subject to these constraints, right? And again x1, x2, x3 would be non-negative. So this is the mathematical formulation of this LPP. I suppose this also must be clearer to you, because these examples are quite simple, and in fact the mathematical formulation of LPP is quite simple. Now this was optimal line product line problem. Now we have diet problems, and these are also quite similar. In case of diet problems, now first says a dietitian wishes to mix two types of food in such a way that the vitamin contents contain at least 8 units of vitamin A and 10 units of vitamin C. Food 1 contains 2 units per kg of vitamin A and 1 unit per kg of vitamin C, while food 2 contains 1 unit of vitamin A and 2 units of vitamin C. It costs rupees 5 per kg to produce food 1 and purchase food 1, and rupees 7 per kg to purchase food 2. Formulate the above linear programming problem to minimize the cost of such a mixture. So in this case you have to minimize the cost. Again this is also quite simple, just try to form a table again. So here we will have okay, now I will have resources, right, and we have here we will have food and so we have resources, then I have food, and here I am going to write down the requirements, right. So in case of food also I have 1 and 2, and resources are vitamin A, then vitamin C, and I can put my cost also here. So this is our table. Now vitamin A is for the mixture must contain at least 8 units of vitamin A and 10 units of vitamin C. That means the minimum requirements are 8 and 10. Then we have food 1 contains 2 units per kg of vitamin A, right, and 1 unit per kg of vitamin C. And similarly for food 2 it's 1 unit of A and 2 units of C. Then cost is given to be 5 for 1 and 7 for 2. Now this is simple. Again we assume let the dietitian let the dietitian mix X kg of food 1 with Y kg of food 2, right? So in that case, obviously x is greater than equal to 0 and y is greater than equal to 0, and next thing, since 1 kg of food must contain, it's given that 2 units of vitamin A and 1 unit of vitamin C. In case of food 2, it's 1 and 2. Now we have assumed that it is the dietitian is mixing x kg of food 1 with y kg of food 2. So therefore the total cost, now first of all we find out the objective function. So total cost for this in this case would become it's rupees 5 for food 1 and 7 for food 2, and we are assuming it to be x units for food 1 and y units for food 2. So we have minimize z, that will become 5x plus 7y subject to, now see, what we'll have is 1 kg of food 1 contains 2 units of vitamin A, right? And now we have assumed x kgs of food 1, so it will become 2x. So we'll have the constraints in the form 2x plus y, and this would be greater than equal to 8 because it is the minimum requirement. So the total requirement, that is 2x plus y, should be greater than, minimum of 8 means should be greater than or equal to 8. So these signs are very important, whether it should be less than equal to or greater than equal to. Similarly, now you will have x plus 2y is greater than equal to 10, and then you have xy is greater than equal to 0. So this is the mathematical formulation that you are required to form. Now the next example, again this is similar one. A diet is to contain at least 400 units of carbohydrate, 500 units of fat and 300 units of protein. Two foods are available, F1 which costs rupees 2 per unit and F2 which costs rupees 4 per unit. Unit of F1 contains 10 units of carbohydrate, 20 units of fat and 15 units of protein, and a unit of F2 contains 25 units of carbohydrate, 10 units of fat and 20 units of protein. Find the minimum cost for a diet that consists of a mixture of these two foods and also meets the minimum nutrition requirements. Formulate the above as a linear programming problem. Okay, again first of all just form the table. So I hope these questions are clearer to you. This is quite interesting, and obviously it will be interesting only provided you are understanding it. Okay, so the table would consist of obviously food, right? So we have food, and then we'll have here carbohydrate, then we have fat, then we have proteins, and finally here we'll be putting the cost per unit, right? And then here you will have F1 and F2, and we can just put the minimum requirement. You can form the table in either way. You can have this section here and you can have these sections here. You can form it in either way, right? Now for F1, cost is given to be 2 and 4, right? Rupees 2 and rupees 4. Then we have, in case of F1, we have 10 units of carbohydrate, 20 of fat and 15 of protein, and for F2 it's 25 and then 10 and 20, right? So plus minimum requirements are given to be 400, 500 and 300. So this was the formation of table that was most important. Now we can just form the constraints. Again, suppose the diet suppose the diet contains, suppose the diet contains X units of F1 and Y units of F2. So diet contains X units of F1 and Y units of F2. Since now 1 unit of F1 contains 10 carbohydrate, 20 units of fat and 15 units of protein. So, okay, first of all let's discuss the total cost. Z denote the total cost function. So what we'll have is 2 and 4 are given. So it will be Z equal to 2x plus 4y, and obviously minimize, right? And then X units of food F1 and Y units of food F2 will contain 10x plus 25y of carbohydrate, and right, X units of food F1 and Y units of food F2 will contain, it is given that minimum requirement is 400. So it will be 10x plus 25y is greater than equal to 400. Minimum means it should be at least 400. So it would be greater than equal to 400. Subject to, we'll have 10x plus 25y is greater than equal to 400. Similarly, now you'll have 20x plus 10y is greater than equal to 500, right? And then we'll have 15x plus 20y is greater than equal to 300, right? So plus obviously x and y would be greater than equal to 0. So this is the mathematical formulation that maximize z equal to 2x plus 4y subject to 10x plus 25y is greater than equal to 400, 20x plus 10y is greater than equal to 500, and 15x plus 20y is greater than equal to 300. Now we have the transportation problems, and transportation problems are extremely important. They can, you might feel that they are a bit difficult as compared to optimal product line and the diet problems, but again these are quite interesting, and it's just that you'll have to do a very good amount of practice. So first example that we have is, there is a factory located at each of the two places P and Q. From these locations a certain commodity is delivered to each of the three depots situated at A, B and C. Then we are given the weekly requirements of depots are, while the production capacity of factories at P and Q are 8 and 6 units respectively. The cost of transportation per unit is given below. So you are given this information. How many units should be transported from each factory to each depot in order that the transportation cost is minimum? Formulate the above as a linear programming problem, right? So you have to formulate this as a linear programming problem. So in transportation problems, how you are going to proceed is, you can just express your information diagrammatically as we have been doing in the form of table. Now in this case we will be expressing it diagrammatically, right? The first step is just express your information diagrammatically, right? How do we do that? Just see, now I take my depots to be in this form. This is my depot A, then I have my depot B, then I will have my depot C, right? And here I put my factory P and factory Q. This is my factory P, and then what I do is I just put the requirement, weekly requirements of depots are 5, 5 and 4. So I write down here 5, 5 and then I have 4, right? This should be your first step. And similarly for factory P and Q also it's given 8 and 6. These are units, right? 8 units, 6 units, 5 units, 4 units, so on. Then from factory P, from P to A the cost is 16, Similarly, to B it's 10, to C it's 15. So how will you write that? Just put these arrows. Similarly, from Q we will be expressing the information, right? So from P to 8 the cost is 16, 10, 15, and similarly from Q it's 10, 12 and 10. 12, 10 and 10, 12 and 10, 10, 12 and 10, right? Now what I do is, just suppose that factory P is delivering, let factory P transports or delivers X units to A, right? First of all, we assume X units to A and Y to B. I am assuming that the factory P delivers X units to depot A and Y units of product to depot B. So just write down here X, and you can write down here below the arrow, you can just write down X and Y. Now the total capacity of factory P is just 8 units. So the remaining it will deliver to C. So that means what I will do is I will subtract X plus Y from 8, and this much quantity the factory P will be delivering to depot C. Now in case of Q, the requirement of depot A is 5 units and it has already obtained X units from factory P. So the remaining units would be transported from the factory Q. That just means it will be getting 5 minus X from factory Q. Similarly, in case of depot B, it will be 5 minus Y. Now factory Q, the ability or the capacity of factory Q is 6 units. Therefore, the remaining units would be, we'll just add a 5 minus X and 5 minus Y and subtract this quantity from 6, that will be delivered, that much units would be delivered from factory Q to depot C. So this becomes 6 minus 10 is 4, and then we have X plus Y. So this just becomes X plus Y minus 4. So we have X plus Y minus 4 units are delivered from Q to C. Now see, once you have drawn this diagram, the formulation is extremely simple. So what we'll have is, now X will always be greater than equal to 0 because they are the number of units. So X and Y are greater than equal to 0, plus now X and Y are greater than equal to 0 plus the minimum requirement. The requirements are always non-negative. So we'll have X is positive, Y is positive, this is positive. Similarly, this and this, all quantities would be positive. So I have X is positive, Y is positive, then 8 minus X minus Y, yeah, this is positive, right? So this just gives me X is positive, Y is positive, and then I get X plus Y is less than equal to 8. Similarly, in case of Q, I'll have 5 minus X is positive, 5 minus Y would be positive, and then my X plus Y minus 4 would always be positive. So this will give me X is less than equal to 5, Y is less than equal to 5, right? And then I'll have X plus Y is greater than equal to 4. These are the equations that we have obtained till now. And we were required to find out the minimum cost, right? How many units should be transported from each factory to each depot in order that the transportation cost is minimum. So for the cost function, what we'll do is that the transportation cost from the factory at P to depots A, B and C, the transportation cost from factory P to depots A, B and C were given to be C. From factory P, the transportation cost to depot A for x units, we have assumed x units, so it will be 16x, then we will have 10y and 15 into this quantity. Similarly, from Q, it would be 10 into 5 minus x plus 12 into 5 minus y plus 10 into this quantity. So, this gives me my z would be 16x plus 10y plus 15 into 8 minus x minus y plus I will have 10 into 5 minus x plus 12 into 5 minus y plus 10 into x plus y minus 4. So, this finally becomes x minus 7y plus 190. So, basically what we have is minimize z equal to x minus 7y plus 190 subject to x plus y, okay, let me write down here, subject to x plus y is less than equal to 8. These are the equation that we have obtained, right? Then I have x plus y is greater than equal to 4, x is less than equal to 5, y is less than equal to 5, and then x and y are greater than equal to 0. So, this was the mathematical formulation of this transportation problem. Again, it is just that you will have to express your information first in the form of a diagram, and once you are done with that, it is quite simple. We shall discuss one more example and I am sure you will be able to understand it. Next we have is a brick manufacturer has two depots A and B with stocks of 30,000 and 20,000 bricks respectively. He receives orders from three builders PQR for 15,000, 20,000 and 15,000 bricks respectively. The cost in rupees of transporting 1000 bricks to the builders from the depots are given with this. How should the manufacturer fulfill the orders so as to keep the cost of transportation minimum? So, we are required to minimize the transportation cost. Formulate the above linear programming problem. Okay, so we are given this information. Again, we will try to just draw a diagram and the things will be quite simple. The diagram would be somewhat, we can just write down here builders. So, I have builder P, then I can take here builder Q, then I can take here builder R, right? Builders are PQR and the requirements orders from three builders from PQR for 15,000, 20,000 and 15,000 bricks respectively. So, here we will write down 15,000, then I will have 20,000. Okay, let me write it with a different color so that you are able to understand it. So, I have builder P, right, and then here we will have A and B, depot B, and then here I have depot A. Now, what about the requirements? We have here 15,000, then I have 20,000 and then I have 15,000, right? And for depot A it is 30,000 and for depot B it is 20,000. For depot A it is 30,000 and for depot B it is 20,000 bricks respectively. Now, the next thing is that just draw these arrows. Okay, so now what else is given to us? Let us assume let the depot A transport x 1000, every quantity is in 1000, so I just assume that the depot A is transporting x 1000 bricks to P, y 1000 to Q and okay, let us assume that it is transporting x thousand to P and y thousand to Q. Sorry, y thousand to Q. So here we have assumed that x thousand, this is in terms of thousand, just remember this. Now further it's given, the charges are given to be from A to PQRR for 40, 20 and 30. So it will be 40, 20 and 30. Now depot A capacity was 30,000, it is transporting x thousands to P, y thousands to Q. So remaining, that is 30 minus x plus y. Just remember, I will take 30 and not 30,000 because x and y are also in terms of thousand. So we will take 30 minus of x plus y will be the number of units in thousands that will be transported from A to R. And here we will have the requirement of P was 15,000, out of which x thousands it has already obtained from A. So here it will be 15 minus x, right? And okay, first of all we had to write down this rupees 20, 60, 40. So 20, 60, 40, and here it will be 15 minus x, and here it will be 20 minus y. 20,000 total requirement, y obtained from A, so 20 minus y would be given by B. And here it would be, the capacity is 20,000 for B, right? The stock of P is 20,000, out of which it has given 15 minus x to P, 20 minus y to Q, and the remaining would be given to R. That means 20 minus 15 minus x plus 20 minus y. So this will become 35 minus 15, and then we have x plus y. So x plus y minus 15, right? This is what we are going to get. Now you can easily form the equations. Similarly, these number of bricks in thousand, this is obviously positive, or you can say non-negative. So x would be greater than equal to 0, y, this quantity, this and this, everything would be greater than equal to 0. This will give you the constraints. And finally, for the objective function, we have assumed that it is transporting x thousands to A, P, and y thousands to Q. So the cost would be 40x plus 20y plus 30 into this plus 20 into this plus 60 into this plus 40 into this. So what did I say? X would be greater than equal to 0, y would be greater than equal to 0, then 30 minus x plus y. 30 minus x plus y would be greater than equal to 0. And so this gives me x is greater than equal to 0, y is greater than equal to 0, and x plus y is less than equal to 30. Similarly, now we will have 15 minus x would be greater than equal to 0. Then we will have 20 minus y would be greater than equal to 0, and then I will have x plus y minus 15 would be greater than equal to 0. So this will give me x is less than equal to 15, y is less than equal to 20, and x plus y is greater than equal to 15, right? And then we will have the objective function, and that would be our z, minimize z. And okay, for z what we will do is, as I have already told you, it will be 40x plus 20y plus this into this plus this into this plus this into this. So finally it would be 40x plus 20y plus 30 into, it will be 30 minus x plus y, so plus 20 into 15 minus x, plus it was 60 into 20 minus y, plus 40 into x plus y minus 15. Just solve it out and you will get it as, once you solve out this function, you will get it as 30x plus minus 30y, 30x minus 30y plus 1800, right? So our problem becomes minimize z, and the most important thing is that we have considered it in thousands. In 1000, minimize z equal to 30x minus 30y plus 1800, subject to constraints x plus y is less than equal to 30, x plus y is greater than equal to 15, x is less than equal to 15, y is less than equal to 20, and x and y are greater than equal to 0. So this is the mathematical formulation of this LPP, linear programming problem. Well, I hope you must have understood the mathematical formulation of various linear programming problems. Now in the next section we will be discussing various important definitions and results, like you will get to know what do we mean by a solution of a LPP, then feasible solution, infeasible solution, feasible region, convex region, and various other concepts. We shall also discuss the fundamental extreme point theorem, that is extremely important. So stay tuned.